When people talk about the most dangerous cities in the United States, big names like Memphis or Detroit almost always come up. But behind the shadow of those metropolitan areas, there are small towns facing much higher levels of violence, places where a single incident can shake the entire community, and crime statistics feel deeply personal. These towns rarely make national headlines, yet FBI data shows that the risk of crime there is often more extreme than in major cities. Is your town on the list? Let's take a closer look at 15 of the most dangerous small towns in the United States. First up is Snyder, a small town in West Texas closely tied to its identity as an oil town. At a glance, the city looks quiet and unassuming, but crime data reveals a side that rarely gets attention. The rate of violent crime in Snyder is recorded as significantly higher than the national average. The most common violent offense is aggravated assault, with 89 cases reported throughout 2024. Meanwhile, simple theft is the most frequent property crime, with 121 reported cases. Beyond crime statistics, Snyder also has a strong historical presence through the Scurry County Museum, which documents the harsh history of West Texas life. Many researchers believe Snyder's crime patterns are not driven by large gangs, but rather by ongoing social pressure, persistent poverty, and limited access to mental health services. Stilwell, Oklahoma, is the county seat of Adair County. Many of its residents are of Cherokee descent, and the town is historically connected to the Trail of Tears, the forced relocation of the Cherokee people in the 19th century. On another note, Stilwell is widely known as the strawberry capital of the world, hosting an annual festival that celebrates local agriculture. Behind that image, however, crime statistics point to serious challenges. In 2024, Stilwell recorded 22 violent crime cases, with 19 of them classified as aggravated assaults. For a small town, this pushes its violent crime rate above the national average. Violence in Stilwell is rarely random. Most cases stem from personal disputes or domestic conflicts. Property crime is even more common. In the same year, 130 cases were reported, including 104 incidents of simple theft. Next is Navasota, a small town in East Texas that grew along railroad lines and the Navasota River. The city is known as the blues capital of Texas and is the hometown of legendary musician Mance Lipscomb. That musical identity still lives on through murals and local festivals. However, crime statistics tell a different story. Navasota's violent crime rate is recorded well above the national average, with 56 aggravated assault cases in a single year, making it the most dominant form of violent crime. These incidents typically arise from personal conflicts, domestic violence, or alcohol-related situations rather than random attacks. In terms of property crime, simple theft again dominates, with 119 reported cases, far exceeding burglary or vehicle theft. We're still in Texas. Donna often appears in national reports not because of big city-style extreme crime, but because of its high poverty rate and long-standing social issues. This small town sits in the Rio Grande Valley, just minutes from the Mexican border. Daily life here is heavily shaped by economic limitations. Many families live close together, work in agriculture or low-wage jobs, and exist under constant financial pressure. Within that context, crime data shows a clear pattern. In 2024, Donna recorded 295 violent crimes, dominated by 265 aggravated assaults. These incidents are rarely random. Most stem from personal conflicts, domestic disputes, or emotional flare-ups. Property crime is also high, with 570 cases of simple theft, making it the most frequently reported offense in the city. Eden, North Carolina is a small town once powered by the roar of textile mills. Nicknamed the Land of Two Rivers, Eden sits at the meeting point of the Dan River and the Smith River, surrounded by green landscapes that contrast sharply with its tough economic history. When the textile industry collapsed, the town changed. Jobs disappeared, the population aged, and social pressure slowly built up. That pressure is reflected in crime statistics. In 2024, Eden recorded 63 violent crimes, with 53 aggravated assaults standing out. For a town of roughly 15,000 people, this places Eden's violent crime rate above the national average. Violence here is rarely random. It more often grows out of personal disputes, domestic arguments, or long-running conflicts. Property crime is far more common, with 317 cases of simple theft out of 391 total reports. Bicycles, household items, and vehicle contents are the most frequent targets. Marksville, Louisiana is the seat of Avoyelles Parish and has a long history dating back to around 1794, when it began as a rural trading center founded by a merchant from Venice. According to the 2024 FBI Uniform Crime Report, Marksville recorded 88 violent crimes, resulting in a violent crime rate of about 1,848 per 100,000 residents, far above the national average. Property crime is also high, with 171 cases, a rate of roughly 3,591 per 100,000, including 139 incidents of simple theft. Despite its high crime numbers, Marksville is known for its motto, "Where everybody is somebody," and is home to Paragon Casino Resort, the first land-based casino in Louisiana, operated by the Tunica Biloxi tribe. Miami is a small town in Gila County, Arizona, located in the heart of a historic silver and copper mining region. With old-era storefronts and winding roads cutting through the hills, the town carries a strong mining town atmosphere. Recent crime statistics show that Miami often has a high violent crime rate, especially when measured per capita. According to FBI UCR 2022 data, the town recorded 24 violent crimes, 20 of which were aggravated assaults, placing its violent crime rate at around 1,558 per 100,000 residents, far above the national average. Miami's crime data also tends to fluctuate year to year, reflecting how small communities can be highly sensitive to local social and economic changes. Historically, theft and burglary have increased during periods when mining activity slows. Hamtramck, Michigan, is a small city often described as 2 square miles of the world, known for its extraordinary cultural diversity and as the only city in the United States with a Muslim majority population. Dozens of languages are spoken daily. Once dominated by auto factory workers and Polish immigrants, Hamtramck's mix of ethnicities and religions has become a defining feature of its identity. Behind this multicultural life, recent crime data reveals serious challenges for a small city. According to FBI UCR 2024 data, Hamtramck recorded 132 violent crimes, with a violent crime rate of about 488.6 per 100,000 residents. Of these, 104 were aggravated assaults, showing that physical conflict dominates local violence. Robbery accounted for 23 cases and rape for 5 cases. Property crime is also significant. Out of 432 property crime cases, 230 were simple theft and 146 were vehicle theft, highlighting complex social pressures in this small urban environment. Eloy, Arizona is a small town often described by two very different identities. On one hand, it is known worldwide as the home of Skydive Arizona, one of the largest and busiest skydiving centers on the planet, attracting athletes and tourists seeking freedom in the sky. On the other hand, Eloy also has a high concentration of federal prisons and detention facilities, a reality that strongly shapes the town's social dynamics. This context is clearly reflected in crime data. In 2024, Eloy recorded 95 violent crimes, with 81 of them classified as aggravated assaults, the most dominant category, pushing the violent crime rate above the national average. Much of this violence is local and personal, often tied to domestic conflicts and social pressure rather than random crime. On the property crime side, there were 192 reported cases, with 126 incidents of simple theft as the most common offense. Española, New Mexico is a small city with a classic Southwest landscape. Adobe buildings, distant mountains, and a strong Pueblo and Hispanic cultural influence felt in its music, food, and local festivals. The city is often described as a meeting point of multiple cultures in New Mexico. Behind its visual beauty and cultural heritage, however, Española carries a heavy crime reputation. Historically, the city has been known for a violent crime rate far above the national average. At its peak, violent crime exceeded 2,900 cases per 100,000 residents, making it one of the most dangerous small cities in the state. The most common forms of violence are physical assault and robbery, often linked to personal conflicts and substance abuse. The area around Española has long been known as a center of narcotics and overdose crises, prompting the state government to declare multiple public health and safety emergencies over the years. Darby, Pennsylvania is a small town located just minutes from Philadelphia, yet it feels like a different world. Its streets are narrow, houses tightly packed, and almost everyone knows one another, or at least knows each other's reputation. From the outside, Darby looks like a typical working-class town. From within, the pressure is clearly felt. Crime data reinforces that atmosphere. In 2024, Darby recorded 88 violent crimes, with 68 classified as aggravated assaults. This pushed its violent crime rate to around 831 per 100,000 residents, well above the national average. The problems do not stop there. Property crime is also high, with 279 reported cases, including 163 incidents of simple theft and a surge in vehicle theft. Cars parked overnight are often quick and silent targets. Historically, Darby is one of the oldest settlements in Pennsylvania, founded by Quakers who valued peace. Ironically, the town is now known for conflicts that are hard to avoid. A small city with a long history tied to industry and lumber along the western shore of Lake Michigan, Muskegon Heights has faced decades of population decline and heavy social pressure. Today, only about 9,800 residents remain, many living under difficult economic conditions. Recent crime data reveals a sharp contrast to the quiet image of a small town. Based on FBI Uniform Crime Report calculations, Muskegon Heights has a violent crime rate of approximately 1,709.6 per 100,000 residents, far higher than the national average. In those reports, 139 aggravated assaults dominate violent offenses, while property crimes such as simple theft are also high, with 238 cases of larceny theft recorded. If Muskegon Heights shows the wounds of a collapsed industrial city, Bogalusa, Louisiana represents a southern version of the same story, hotter, more isolated, and harsher. That pressure is clearly reflected in crime data. In 2024, Bogalusa recorded 116 violent crimes, with 103 of them classified as aggravated assaults. This pushed the violent crime rate to around 1,131 per 100,000 residents, far above the national average for a town of its size. Violence in Bogalusa is rarely random. It often grows out of personal conflicts, long-standing disputes, and a socially strained environment. The problems do not stop there. Property crime is also high, with 434 reported cases, 310 of them simple thefts. Homes, yards, and vehicles are the most frequent targets. Ironically, Bogalusa is often cited as one of the cities facing the heaviest economic and social challenges in Louisiana, including a high poverty rate. This is a city that almost never escapes lists of dangerous places. Pine Bluff, Arkansas, is a small city in the Arkansas Delta with two faces, a history rooted in fertile agriculture and serious social challenges in the modern era. Its streets were once driven by the rhythm of local industry, but current crime statistics paint a far harsher and more complex reality. According to FBI UCR 2024 data, Pine Bluff recorded 609 violent crimes, with a violent crime rate of about 1,580 per 100,000 residents, more than 4 times the national average. The majority of these were 538 aggravated assaults, while 37 robberies and 20 rapes were also reported. On the property crime side, the numbers are extremely high. Out of 1,761 cases, 1,144 were simple thefts, making it the most common property crime in the city. East St. Louis, Illinois, sits along the Mississippi River directly across from St. Louis, Missouri, a strategic location that once made it a major industrial and railroad hub in the Midwest. At its peak in the mid-20th century, the city was prosperous, dense, and busy. Today, traces of that era remain in aging buildings, but more recent crime data tells a much heavier story. According to recent reports, East St. Louis has a violent crime rate of around 1,065 cases per 100,000 residents, well above the national average, with aggravated assault accounting for most of the hundreds of violent incidents. Rates of theft, robbery, and even homicide are also high compared to many other small cities in the state. While often viewed as one of the most high-risk cities in the Metro East region, East St. Louis is also undergoing revitalization efforts, ongoing attempts to attract investment, improve housing, and rebuild a community long damaged by industrial decline.